Merry Christmas, friends and fiends and guys and ghouls of all ages. Ye Olde Dragon here, welcoming you to a very special episode of the Draconic Verses. Friends and fiends, tonight I'm going to be peering through the mists of time to look back at Christmases past. Somewhat long past. You see, friends and fiends, many, many moons ago, the Olde Dragon had some very special hatchlings in my life. And on Christmas Eve, I would read a very special story to them. And, well, suffice to say, for the last few years, I haven't had anybody to read it to. And then a few weeks back, my oldest and dearest friend, who just happens to be the aunt of these special hatchlings, said to me that the only thing she wanted for Christmas was to hear me read The Grinch Who Stole Christmas once more. And I said, sure, you got it. And as I was thinking about it and puzzling some more, I decided that I wanted to do it in a way that was really special, not just reading it to her over the phone. So, with your kind indulgence and my hope that you enjoy it, please sit back and relax for Dr. Seuss's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Oh, with a little bit of vocal embellishment that will hopefully sound a little familiar. Okay? Man, headphones are a hard thing to deal with a Santa hat, let me tell you. And here we go. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. Now, the Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season, but please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a holly Who wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. And then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, I know, all those Who, girls and boys, will wake bright and early and rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, oh, the noise, oh, the noise, noise, noise. There's one thing I hate, it's all the noise, noise, noise. And then the Whos, young and old, will sit down to a feast. And they'll feast. And they'll feast. And they'll feast, 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 feast. They'll feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast. Oh, roast beast is a feast I can't stand in the least. And then they'll do something I hate most of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, they'll stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'll stand hand in hand and those Whos will start singing. And they'll sing, and they'll sing, and they'll sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this whole Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I put up for it now. I must stop Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. I'll make a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. And the Grinch looked around, but as reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? Oh, no, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he took his dog Max, and he took some black thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some empty old sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he whistled for Max. Then the Grinch said, "Gid up!" and the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark. No one knew he was there. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, as he climbed up the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pitch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two, and then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who's stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinched, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present: popguns, pampooners, pantukas and drums, checkerboards, bizzlebigs, popcorn and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimbley. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "Now," said the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." As the Grinch took the tree and he started to shove, he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was no more than 2. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head and gave her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who was in bed with her cup, he crept to the fireplace and stuffed the tree up. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same things to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1:15 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. packed it up with their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, their snoof and their fuzzles, their tringlers and trappings. 10,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was grinchily humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a moment or two. Then every Who down in Whoville will cry, "Oh, boo-hoo!" "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "I simply must hear." And he paused, and he put a hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and then it started to grow. But this sound wasn't sad. This sound sounded glad. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes of bags. He puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. And then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And now that his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his treasures through the bright morning light. With a smile to his soul, he descended Mount Crumpet, cheerfully blowing hoo-hoo on his trumpet. He rode into Whoville. He brought back their toys. He brought back their floof to the Who girls and boys. He brought everything back, all the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Welcome, Christmas, bring your cheer. Cheer to all Who's, far and near. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. Christmas Day will always be, just as long as we have we. Welcome, Christmas, while we stand, heart to heart and hand in hand. And then the Grinch made some room and had himself a nice big bowl of antipasto. Sorry about that, friends and fiends, but that was a little inside joke of Christmas past. Merry Christmas, Darlene. Well, my dear friends and fiends, I would like to thank you for stopping by. And to all of you, to all my friends and fiends, to all my guys and ghouls, to all my TCM partygoers and my drive-in mobsters and my Facebook friends and family and all my tweetniks out there. From the bottom of this old draconic heart, I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a most excellent and happy New Year. I'm going to go have some eggnog and finish trimming my tree. Merry Christmas, everybody. Close Channel D.